Welcome, everybody, to True Detective, The Final Country, the penultimate episode of Season 3. We were pretty sure they whacked Harris James, but now we know.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Welcome, everybody, to True Detective, The Final Country. This is our penultimate episode for Season 3. I'm Joe SanFelippo. I'm joined by Nate.
What's up, guys?
Sorry, you guys. I'm taking notes at the same time. And Julia Cearley.
Oh, wait, are we doing a show?
I think we should.
Oh, okay, let's do it. Hi, guys. Hi, everybody.
Awesome. Before we get into this, we're gonna take this thing linearly because that's how our brains work. Ben Bateman is not able to be with us today because he's doing very interesting things in New York.
Yeah.
That involve toys, as near as I can tell.
Ooh.
Probably.
I think children's toys. I think.
Oh, all right.
I don't know. It looked very colorful.
All sounds fun.
Yes.
No idea.
No idea.
But he'll be back for next
But he'll be
week.
back for
Yes,
next
he
week
will.
for the finale.
Yes.
Excellent. Before we get into this, let me ask you guys a question. Julia, what did you think of the episode?
It was so good. It was really scary. This episode just really, got my juices flowing. The music, the way it was shot, it was kind of gruesome, which all the shows I love are the most gruesome, bloody, gory
That is
shows.
kind of your deal.
I know, it's kind of my thing. So definitely delivered. I cannot wait to see how this all wraps up. I can't believe we only have one episode to go. I'm bummed, but this episode was stunning.
Nice. Mr. Miller, what did you think?
Yeah, I liked it a lot, too. I thought the score was incredible. It really kind of led to the overall feeling of the episode. It was really a big standout for me. Yeah, I don't know. There's been a lot of pieces that they've been dangling, and we don't know exactly where they all connect, and they're all finally starting to come together, and it's just looking like a really, really well put together picture. I'm just really enjoying it, and like you said, I can't wait to see how they wrap it up. They've kind of tied up some of the timeline stuff, especially with last week and this week, but there's still they keep opening up new mysteries as they solve things.
Right.
So I'm really excited.
But it was kind of satisfying this episode, right?
Yeah,
I felt
to a degree, yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
about you?
until you get to the cliffhanger ending.
Right.
yeah.
Well, I wanted to feel better about Harris James, but I have kids. I would never. I believe him in that, but anyway, I'm not sure. This one was directed by Daniel Sackheim. We think he's done the last 3, right? If we remember right. And Nick
Not the last 3 episodes, but he does the last 3 episodes of the season.
of the season,
so he did
right?
the last
So
one,
this one, and
the
the
next
final
one.
right. 3-hour and 30-minute movie, basically, and it is so. The timing's great, the pacing's great. This is tripping me out though, because we're going back to season 1. We're going back to these pedophile rings. I'm starting to wonder if these. I mean, are these a real? These are a thing? I mean, is this? I mean,
Yeah, these are definitely a thing.
Yeah,
I'm
I mean, this.
sad to say, I think it is.
I think I'd kind of in my head made out season 1 was oh, it's a thing that doesn't. It's not a thing, but I mean, you're giving me a look like
It's definitely a thing. Child sex trafficking is very, very much a real thing.
But the pedophile
in the United
codes
States
and the whole
Yeah.
Jesus.
I mean,
man.
some of that stuff was kind of Pizzagate with the spiral stuff.
Right.
That we don't know how much truth there is in that, but I mean, of course, if you were in that kind of underground society, you'd have to have some way of communicating what you're in without letting somebody else know.
I just hate to, I hate to acknowledge that there's
scary. World's a scary
it's
place.
terrifying,
really
right?
terrifying.
Terrifying.
That's what this show's about, is
know.
reality.
You want
Right?
it to only exist on TV, but it's real, man.
Watch
It's
kids,
real
damn it.
awful.
All right. Well, let's start in 1980. What we're going to do is bang through 80, and then we'll dip into 90 and 2000 and 2015. Pardon me, because 80 goes by real quick. We've got where do we start in 1980 here?
We actually start before we get into 1980 with a kind of a new timeline.
Yeah, it's
right?
a weird it looked like 96 maybe going off to college, right?
Yeah, we haven't seen that before, right?
No, we haven't seen that at all.
Off to school with Becca.
With Becca. So they're kind of dangling the Becca carrot yet again.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that they brought that up again, that it didn't just sort of die in the water, because I'm really fascinated to see
Well, there's
what
gotta be
happens to
something.
her.
Nothing is dying in the water.
No,
Nothing
no.
is. There's no throwaways. No. I agree with you too. I mean, at first I was like, oh my God, a new timeline? That's
Yeah,
what we're
don't do
doing?
that.
I can't do
Really?
it. I can't
The
do
second
it.
to last episode, that's what we're doing? But I also think that there's more to that than what we just saw. I don't think it was just to get that kind of callback for when he has that disconnect, so we
Right.
understand. I think that there's
something there.
more that happens on that day, that there's a reason why he goes back to that
Yeah.
when he
Yeah.
sees the girl.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree.
And I gotta say, when she said you'll feel better when you lift something heavy, I took my oldest to college. It's true. As soon as because you do freak out, and then you start lifting things, and you're like, all right, well, you're all gonna get high as soon as we leave. But I understand. That's what's gonna happen.
Probably.
All right. So what else we got in 1980? There's not a hell of a lot. It looks like.
Well, we had the conversation between Roland and Tom, with
Right.
Roland trying to stop him from getting in his car because he was having these suicidal tendencies.
Right, and we get that tenderness, that
Yeah.
moment of you may not need me, you don't need me now, you don't need my help, but you may.
It seemed like the birth of their friendship, their extracurriculars, whatever they may be. That has not come to light yet.
We have not gotten to the bottom of that.
That is when.
Oh, that's that he confirmed that that's not.
That's a
not
red
the
herring.
case. Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
there's nothing
no they didn't have a
Sexual
sexual
relationship,
relationship.
yeah.
Yeah, no.
Well, whatever their relationship may be.
Well, the creator of the show confirmed. People asked him on Instagram,
And Nick said
were
no.
they gay? Did they have a relationship? Long question. You can look it up. He's like, no.
So it's an unequivocal.
Yeah, he said he actually specified that it's more about yes, he was kind of like a life partner, but not in a romantic way. More in that he was able to take care of himself because he was taking care of Tom at the same time.
And I
he
think-
kind of fixed up the two of them together.
And that ties
that's why
in-
they are so close.
Yeah, and that ties in with the dogs and the kennel, and it ties in with
Right.
how he feels about Wayne.
Yeah.
Right, the rehabilitation.
I got it.
I'm going to help people out.
Yeah.
Like that's why I brought you on this case. There's tons of better detectives than
Exactly.
you, but I'm trying to help you. And those dogs, same thing. I think that's a neat character thing.
I like it.
We also get to witness the birth of the book.
Yeah.
We get some dishes getting done. Dishes done. Done the fuss. But then that little birth of the book there. Is it an article for the paper? Nah, it might be for a magazine. Hey, have you heard of this other book? My seniors read it. You should write it. People should know that they closed it. They didn't solve it.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
it is the birth. There's an expression: hoist on your own petard. I did a show many years
What?
ago. It's a petard. Don't get nasty. Hoist on your own petard. A petard is a crane, and so getting hoist on your own petard means you've been hooked up on your own apparatus. And so this is.
Is this like an expression from the 20s or
no,
something?
it's an expression from Shakespeare. It goes back.
Oh, even further back.
1500 and change. So, but hoist on your own petard means you get caught up on your own mechanism. And so this is Wayne, his own mechanism. He's saying you should do it because he's so mad at those guys. 'Cause
Yeah,
he
he's
thinks
singing out of spite.
Right. And so then how many's got 25 years to regret that particular.
One little
that
conversation.
one
I
little-
love that they showed us that moment too.
Yeah.
It was sort of it was a shocker when to me at least, when we find out that he was the one who urged this, who encouraged this, who told her to go out and do it, write
Yep.
a book. I
Do
was like,
it. Get that
yeah.
book.
But now you're exactly what you're saying. Now, like you made your bed, buddy.
There it is.
I still think even then, though, she was kind of pushing him into that conclusion. I think she was taking advantage of him being upset at the situation and feeling like there's nothing he could do to kind of get him to sign off on the book. Because I don't think she necessarily knew that she was doing a book, but she knew that she was interested in the case. She knew that she was writing
Right.
about it. She knew she knew it wasn't an article because she kept saying like, "Well, I don't know." Like she knew. So I don't. Yes, it's his fault for saying that when he was upset, but I still think it's both of them together
course.
because she wanted that.
He didn't write the book.
Definitely
She
trapped
did.
him
But
post-coital.
Because she.
I mean, I don't think he was thinking straight no matter what.
Nope.
Yeah, I'm
he would have
surprised
said
they
yes
didn't
to
have-
anything.
No,
Surprised
I-
I didn't have sex this episode.
I do love the idea though that but I think they shot that nicer than that. I'm not the biggest Amelia fan, but I think that they shot that better than that. I thought they gave that. She was very much like I don't know what.
Is it a conflict of interest? Like
Right?
she asked all the right
She
questions.
did.
Would that
She-
get you in trouble?
Are we sure
and
this
he was
is-
just like, yeah.
And then
I
10
think
years
the whole
I
later-
thing
think
was
the
a
tone.
manipulation.
I think the tone there was very important.
But
I think are we going to get in trouble? Like
She shows a little more shoulder.
Right? Like
Unzips
come
a
on.
little bit, we're
And
gonna get in trouble.
he literally like this happened.
and then
So this was right after the case closed, right? Because that's what he said. Is
Yes.
the case is closed.
Right.
So she already knows about the case and how wrapped up he is in it. So let alone for him to be like to know that it's over and he can't do anything. It's a perfect place for her to be like, well, here's what we can do. You can tell me all this stuff that you know. Because he
then
even says, the things I could tell you.
Right? And then 10 years later, we got the kids crashed out in the car while she was meeting the dude in the bar.
God.
Not a good look, by the way.
Not a
good look.
good
Not
look.
even of our 1990. Well, I think that wraps 80, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, People ought to know. And let's move on to the 90s, man, where things get crazy right off the bat.
90 is where it's at.
Yes, this is the 90 episode. We dive in right off the bat. We're in the tower. And Tom, we got blood splatter as we're walking up the tower, and there's Tom, who has offed himself and has carefully typed out a note.
Yes, indeed.
As Tom would.
Just the most ridiculous
Supposedly,
note.
allegedly. killed himself.
Allegedly. Oh, God. I mean,
We
note
know that he
alone-
didn't kill him.
Of course
Yes.
not.
I think as viewers we can
I
say.
mean, from what the note says alone, and they
Well,
referenced
also,
it
we
as
saw
well.
him.
You know,
yeah.
right. In
Yeah.
the pink room, where
Julie.
was Julie?
Wow,
Julie?
beautiful.
Too much?
I was.
Didn't cross it?
I was going there too.
But
I
I
say,
really...
I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I'm going to see my wife and son.
Yeah,
You
nah.
really don't want to see your wife.
Nobody
You
gives a
don't
shit
like
about
her.
your wife.
She was awful.
I do so much enjoy Roland with relation to Tom. I feel like they've done such a good job of setting up his empathy and then his guilt.
Yeah.
They've laid that groundwork so well that those scenes really have a life without any pushing, without any forced. You know what I mean?
Do you think at that time, at that exact moment when they are discovering the body, do you think Roland thinks that Tom really did kill himself?
Yes.
Because he is racked with
Yeah.
guilt.
Oh,
He
'cause they
is,
came at him hard.
Beside himself with guilt, and he was on the edge. Obviously, he was. And that last time we saw him beating up Dan and just going batshit crazy. I guess it is in his realm of
definitely.
possibilities.
And-
That just makes me feel bad for him.
Right, and then and they didn't want to go at him that way anyhow. They knew, and not only is it a cop coming at you, it's your friend taking away all your friendship. The guy that's been your rock, your backstop for 10 years, like when your sponsor, whatever else you want to call it, the guy that kept you honest. All of a sudden, all that's gone in a heartbeat, and then the next day he's offed himself. Of course, he thinks he did it.
Yeah, that just
Brutal.
makes me sad.
Rough stuff.
They were buddies.
But we know better. We know that that's not the deal. We cut to Amelia and Wayne. We talk about the one-eyed guy again. That was that she wants to talk about the book signing, right? And we're getting our crossover from Amelia to Wayne about Watt, right? Who we find out eventually is
Mr. June.
Mr. June.
Yeah, that's a fun little device that they threw in there. I'm kind of excited about
Yeah.
that. But it's concerning. She's obviously quite concerned. But now she's hot on the trail. She's really nervous about him.
Yeah, she did not
thinks-
like feeling that
No,
way.
she did
felt
not.
vulnerable and scared.
You're very scared.
Yeah.
I mean, for most of her interaction with the case, she's been, at arm's length of it. So to have an actual, interaction with somebody who might be involved in yelling angrily at her is probably a really rude awakening of the reality of the case, of it being real people that are
Right.
involved,
Yeah.
not just some story that she's running.
And you imagine you've built your career of being an expert on a thing you're not really a part of.
Yeah.
And so when you're actually faced with it and someone's actually up in your grill, that's got to be very jarring and scary.
That's a really good point. We really saw that hit home as well when she left her kids in the car. Now we're talking about this is a place where they might be discussing kidnapping kids and selling them out to pedophile rings.
Yeah.
Like she
It's
gets
a really bad mom move. I'm just saying.
she got so far down the rabbit
You're
hole.
safe in the car.
Yeah. I mean, even in the 90s, that wasn't cool.
It worked out okay this time around, but still not a good look.
Not a good
Amelia.
look. Next thing we get in the 90s that I recall, we have Wayne and Roland. We have Roland basically come to Wayne and just give him some truth. Just really lay into him a little bit. Like, no, there were better detectives. There were better people for this than you. I did this for you. I tried to get you back.
Yeah.
What did you think about that? What'd you think about the feel of that scene?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh.
Frank.
Oh, we're doing a show. I thought it was a rude awakening. I think it was truthful, and after what we've been talking about, how Roland does take in those 6 sad puppies everywhere
Yeah.
he goes. I don't think he liked seeing his friend sitting at a desk and wasting his life away. And he saw he and Amelia, and just like his life wasn't that great, so he's helping him out. Plus, I mean, he was the first detective on the case. He should have been there, but it was a nice jab.
Yeah.
At a time when Roland was really hurting. Just me.
I thought so.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think he was. I think he was telling the truth.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think Hayes is. I mean, I think we're prone to take Hayes' side just because we've got mostly his perspective, but especially when Roland lays it out like that, especially the fact that he's still been his friend and supported him after like how he acts.
Oh God, yeah.
I can't disagree with him. He definitely said it to be hurtful and was, like you said, hurt himself, but
Yeah.
I don't think he was wrong.
I think needed to be said though, right? Because it's
Yeah, and I mean, but also, this is a great. It still goes to show like the different way that they look at things. Whereas, I mean, this is why I forget the interviewer's name. Eliza. But this is why she says later, like, this is why I came to you, because you're the one that has the reputation of not like going along with things.
Right.
Like, that is very integral to his core, and that's why the case even got pushed as far as it did. That's why he finds the stuff later. So being able to see the two of them, and even though Roland is right, and like career-wise he's right, and he's still wrong in the sense that he doesn't see that bigger picture that Hayes sees. He doesn't see the corruption, all the stuff that's going on. He's like choosing to be like, no, we just need to follow along. Like, he doesn't want to look, is what I should say.
He's doing a lot by the book.
Yeah, I think he's trying. I mean, not even. I don't know, because I don't want to say that he's like trying to brush it under the rug, because I don't think that's what he's trying to do. But I don't think he's trying to put himself, like he said, it's a job.
It's a job.
You can't let it become you,
And
which is very important.
And that's it. That's why I think that scene is so great, because it is absolutely indicative of, look, this is not supposed to kill you. This is not supposed to take over your life. This is supposed to be a gig, and we follow it and we do it, but it's not our lives. Amelia and Fred, we got that mixed race couple. So Amelia, and this is Lucy's friend, right? It was Lucy's best friend.
Lucy's best friend.
That was making the wreath. Is that the deal?
Yeah.
Weird deal. So what was the point there? We had
She had the Halloween picture with those ghosts.
She's the one who, in the first episode, takes the picture of the kids as they go by her house. Like that's the
same tie-in.
lady.
Oh,
Right.
okay.
Okay. And so she's got a picture of them from Halloween of 1980. Is that right?
The Halloween that, yeah.
I don't follow the significance of this one.
Oh, it's the picture. I mean, something's going to happen
It's a
with
picture
that
of the kids. So we already had heard about the two ghosts, and then the picture of the kids is significant because we see the two ghosts of the people that, when they talk about the couple that was like following the kids around, that they heard about but they hadn't seen. That's why it's significant.
Oh, okay. So
Yes.
the couple is the two ghosts in the background are the people we're not sure who they are, but we think it's the mixed race
people
couple.
that they've
So
been
this is
meeting,
the
yeah.
Halloween that Julie received the doll.
Got it. So this could be like Miss Isabel and Mr. June following them around on
Theoretically.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry, on Halloween. Because you shouldn't go trick-or-treating on Thanksgiving. That's just weird.
I mean,
Not going to work out well for anyone.
probably won't get a lot of candy.
No candy. Okay, I think I got it now. All right. And we're going to bring the picture back the next day. Again, more voyeurism on the part of Amelia. But
She's good. She really gets in there. She
does.
really gets the sympathy vote from just about anyone. She gets
Yeah.
what she wants.
she does. She
Doesn't
pushes
she?
and she pushes and she pushes. Next thing we see in 1990, we go back to Dan O'Brien's hotel. It's obviously been tossed, right? There is no Dan O'Brien. We're assuming that Dan O'Brien is now.
I missed how or why they were tipped off, why the cops were called.
Oh, because they had the license plate number on Dan O'Brien's car, right? And they followed up on the license plate number.
Okay. I just missed
So
how
I feel
why
like
they were
that
called
was
there.
just cleaning up. I don't feel like Roland was all that into it. I feel like he kind of felt like he had to. What do you guys?
Well, that was their only other lead.
The only
at
other
that
lead,
point.
right?
So, yeah, they had to check it out at least.
So we follow up. We've got
was
a
a
tossed
mighty
hotel
lead,
room.
too.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah.
No Dan. We assume he might be in a limestone quarry somewhere, rotting away.
Well, they find him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did some-
He's gone. He gone.
Somewhere. Poor
and,
Dan.
and then we cut over to the Nevada Belle has got the phone records, which leads us down the rabbit hole to some really, really good stuff.
That's when it gets good.
That's
That's when
when-
this episode makes a turn for me. It was all fun and games. It was all fine. I love Finding Tom Dead. Great. I'm into that sort of thing. But that is when, like, we hunker down.
Right? Let's go.
Shit gets real.
Is this my pager going off? I don't even care. I don't even
Uh-huh.
care. Did anybody else get a little blast to the...
Of course.
Oh, look at that. Bzz, bzz.
Of
Nothing,
course.
Nate. Whatever. I'd take your judgment. I don't care.
I remember them, but I try not to.
Yeah. They were beautiful.
Did you ever
No,
have a pager? You
no,
weren't
I
old
didn't
enough.
have one. But my parents had pagers.
Oh. Now he's just trying to make us feel old.
I didn't look. You guys asked.
Screw you, Junior.
I knew what I was getting into.
Yeah, you
I know
got
what I
it.
should
I was
have
trying to be
asked.
quiet.
$2 a month, unlimited pay.
Oh no.
Oh yeah. All right, so we find out that that Nevada Bell we get the records in. There were 8 calls between Lucy's hotel room and Hoyt Corporation. Then we find out that Harris James flew out to Vegas the day before Lucy died and flew back home first class, as one does, the day after she's dead.
Well, if you're working for Hoyt, everything's first class.
Damn right, that's some first class chicken,
Your Hoyt's
goddammit.
cleaner.
Damn it. So now we're in the mix here. Now we're kind of diving into it. And we're digging through, and in the meantime, Amelia loads the kids in the car.
Yeah.
For a very bizarre off to the bar thing.
Yeah.
But what did we learn from the bar? We got that it's the one-eyed guy was there with
Talking to Dan.
So Dan was involved with the one-eyed dude somehow or another.
Yes. And that was where Lucy worked.
Which is Mr. June,
Well,
the one-eyed
what
dude.
we are led
Yes.
to believe.
Okay.
Yes.
And-
that's what we learned, which is a
got
big
it.
thing to learn.
And the kids were in the car. I'm sorry, I got to move past it.
So Hayes takes what he found right over to Roland
Yes.
and says, "We need to do something about this." And Roland says, "Okay, let's take it in." And Hayes says, "How about we don't? How about we don't do that?" Were you guys surprised that with his reaction?
With Hayes's?
No,
I'm sorry.
With Roland's reaction.
Yes. No, I wasn't, because he's trying to draw that line. He's trying to show him, and I was impressed with Wayne's workaround there. Like, Tom,
It was good.
Yeah.
I mean, he's learned from the master, his wife.
you're right.
Like how to really play on someone's emotions and get them to go along with whatever you want them to go along with.
No, we killed Tom. I mean, it's cool. That's cool if you're good with that.
Gotta do it for Tom.
Tom.
Gotta do it for Tom. And I loved, though, when Roland was done with it at that point. He goes, I'm not simple. You don't have to say it again.
Right.
I hear you.
And
I hear you, asshole. I hear you.
What I love about it though is I'm not simple, but goddamn it, I'm doing it anyway.
Yeah.
Like,
Because it's, he's right, and he knows he's right.
Yes. Yeah.
Roland knows that that's the only course of action here.
That's it.
And that he can't just take it in, because now the suicide as an act that seems to, the Attorney General is making it
no,
like
the
his
AG's
confession.
already.
It's done.
The
Fine.
AG's already gone out there because that guy's such a clown. He's already in front of the camera. He's already he's wrapping up the case already
Yeah.
for him again. So no matter what, I mean, you can't backtrack that.
Nope.
I mean, that's the right. He's already got his nice little thing, and so they really didn't have another choice. At the time, I thought they did, and then the more I think about it, once the Attorney General's been on TV saying that this is what it is, that's already the end game.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have now. What now is the Attorney General going to go back on TV again? Say this is the third time I'm going to change who went ahead and did this murder. You can't do that, right?
Yeah, he can.
You think so? Without losing credibility?
They just did it. They just changed the frame on somebody else.
That's what I'm saying.
They just threw the Woodard conviction. Yeah, so they could do it again. They could easily do it again. Because what's tying him? First of all, he's dead. So like, it's not like they have to like bring somebody out of jail or anything. Like, giving a conviction to a dead man is like, all right, cool.
And he doesn't have
Right.
any family who's
It's
going
like
to
patting
contest
yourself
it.
on the back. Like, yeah, exactly. Like it's a win-win case.
It's kind of
scenario.
perfect for him.
But even so, what is the evidence that ties them? He said the suicide note. Like, they
Yeah.
could easily go, okay, we were wrong. Like,
right.
as long as they have something else to shift the blame to, they don't mind admitting they're wrong.
So you're saying there
They
was
also had the phone call from Julie, who's saying that's not my dad, blah, blah,
Right.
blah.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Yeah.
the suspicions.
So
yeah.
they have plenty to just make it look like they're tying it up in a nice little bow.
So you guys are thinking that. So you're saying that they did not need to go after Harris the way that they did.
I just
they
don't.
could've
I don't
gone
think
a
it was the
different way.
only option. I understand, but I don't think like it's just. He's like, let's do it like the old days, but like it's not the old days. Like it was only 10 years, but it's a big difference, and
but he's
there's just a lot
jonesing
more
for
on the
those old
line.
days.
I know. He just wants to be in control because he feels like he said, sudden act of violence, dead man case closed. Like it's the same cycle as what happened
Over and
before.
over.
He says himself, it's the same thing that happened in '80. As soon as they killed somebody, they're just going to close the case and pin it on them,
Yeah.
and that's over.
I gotta imagine though that there's a feeling of righteousness when you dig in and you got it. Like, you know what I mean? Like wouldn't you feel that? Like I dug through the records, I swam through this shit, I got you. Doesn't that's gotta that righteousness?
And again, it's something that's been haunting them for 10 years.
years.
And now, like, it's like bubbling up to the surface again. The excitement, there's a lot of excitement involved. You saw the excitement in his eyes, just the way Amelia gets excited about it.
Yeah.
And he wants to let out that aggression that's been building up, that's been emasculating him for all this time.
Well, let's get into the barn scene. Let's get into it because I think Jules enjoyed the barn scene quite a bit.
Oh, did I ever?
Talk to us about the barn.
That was the most terrifying scene in this season thus far, in my opinion. The way they built up to it with following Harris out of Hoyt Foods, that big shot they had coming up when they're following him in the car.
That felt like season 1. That felt back in the day.
Oh yes, the
Yeah.
music was swelling. I know you touched on the music earlier. The music in this episode was so good, and especially in that moment, oh my God, the barn scene was so brutal.
And no lights on. All the lights are off.
Being dragged through the grass. Oh, I loved it so much. I'm a sick person.
I liked our guy Harris. I think he's a good actor.
He's great.
I felt empathy for him despite myself. And I think you hurt me. That was good stuff.
You're weak.
I'm weak. What do you want me to say? There's something that,
He played it off with his wheezing, my ribs digging into my lungs. I can feel it, man.
I can feel it. You hurt me. You hurt
really
me.
shallow breaths. I was like, oh shit. I thought that's how he was going to die. I thought he was going to suffocate right then and there, and which was going to suck. But his death sucked even more. I love it.
And man, bang bang, no story. It's all over. We don't know for sure. Like we know, but we don't know, right?
We know, but we don't know.
So frustrating.
Oh, so good.
And of course,
and shocking.
Yes.
It was a shocking scene. It was a jarring scene, I feel like.
The first shot, you had that moment of like, well, maybe he's not going to have to. The second shot, you're like, shit, he's dead. Like, there's no...
I know.
You thought there was a chance.
I mean, I don't know. I thought it was really cool. Like I said, that the score was amazing, but I was not in that much of suspense because I already knew what was going to happen. We
knew that Harris James was dead.
Like, we don't know for sure, but we knew, like, the way that when Roland's like, we can't tell them what we did. Like, they killed a guy. Duh, they killed a guy. And we know that this cop is dead, and he hands him the picture. Like, did you know this guy's dead? He's like, oh, I had no idea. Like, come on. We knew that this was going to happen.
You're saying there was a limit of suspense for you.
It was a great scene. I didn't know exactly how it was going to happen, but also with him tied, like I don't know. With him tied up, like it could only happen so many different ways.
That's true. That's true.
And one of them, spoiler alert for the trope, is, "Oh, can you untie me? I'm dying." Like, I've seen that 1,000 times. Not to say that it wasn't used appropriately. And when you're trying to escape, that's a great tactic. Yeah. So that's how I feel.
Nate was not moved. All right.
It was. I agree with you, though. The performance was fantastic. It was really good. And also just the two of them playing off each other, like, again, in that kind of, like, dark mode. You've seen kind of Roland's kind of gone off the edge because of Tom. He's really, like, in a rage. And he, maybe actually did break his rib.
Might have busted him up pretty good. He hit him pretty hard.
Well, I will be excited enough for all of us.
Yes, you will.
I'm just saying, if it wasn't a surprise, it was like, okay, this is...
I'm not saying it was a surprise. I'm just saying it was really good.
I didn't say it wasn't really good.
All right, so we know for sure Harris is dead. He is now in a shallow grave that Norm Macdonald would write a wonderful bit of stand-up about. Anybody see Norm Macdonald's stand-up about a shallow grave?
No.
Yeah, if you guys have an opportunity, brilliant bit. Then we go to breakfast truth time.
Well, first we have the fight in the woods while burying the body.
Oh, I forgot about that.
That is the fight. I'm assuming, right? The fight that makes them not talk to it. I mean, I'm assuming, right? When Roland says in 2015, does he even like? I can't remember how it goes, but alluding to why we haven't talked in 25 years.
I don't think so.
You don't think this is it?
No, I think it's something else.
Okay, well, this was a pretty big fight.
Well, I've never buried a body with anyone in the middle of the night in a
haven't?
shallow grave. Have not done it.
Oh.
And I would imagine it's stressful. I would imagine
It's hard work.
Yeah. You didn't plan to go out there that night.
Light layers, because it gets really hard.
And they were in their detective clothes, which don't seem to be like grave digging clothes. At any rate, so we have our fight in the woods, and then we cut to breakfast truth time.
Breakfast truth.
We're gonna talk in the morning. Amelia comes out, catches him burning everything again
In a trance.
Yeah, not some stuff you want to see your husband doing at 2-3 in the morning, burning clothes.
I don't know what I would do if I walked outside
I had that
and
thought
Eric
too.
was there in his underwear.
Now listen, in all fairness, I've known your husband a long time. There's very good odds your husband could be burning some weird shit.
Don't say that.
But it probably wouldn't have a murder involved. But I could definitely see him doing it, turning around and being like, "Hey, listen, it'll make sense." That was a solid Eric, if you didn't know.
All right.
But at any rate, the next morning we have Edward Hoyt. We get our phone call, which is a very scary phone call. I could come inside if you like. It's lucky to have a family.
Yeah,
yeah.
that was a menacing.
Finally, we
phone
get
call.
some nice cars there from the old '90s timeline. How interesting is that? I love status. I love status shifts, and I love that we've seen this detective for the last 8 hours, 7 hours, whatever our investment is on the show, being strong and powerful, and all it takes is a single phone call to reduce him from a powerful person outside with 2 cars and enough leverage.
Which also shows why he's so paranoid looking out the window at cars parked across his street.
Oh yeah.
You know, that's sort of a callback to, or call forward to what we see in 2015
Oh, yeah.
with him looking out the window and being suspicious of any car
Yeah,
across
I mean,
the street.
it's not even just a callback. He literally sees the same cars. Those are the 2 cars that he saw before when he was hallucinating.
Right.
Those were the 2 Old Town cars that he saw.
Yeah, something's gonna happen. Something big's gonna happen.
Well, we're going to jump to 2015 and cover a couple things real fast. Before we do, we just want to thank you guys for making us the ESPN of TV talk. And for us to continue to grow, we could, of course, use your help. So please make sure to subscribe on YouTube, give us ratings on iTunes. What do we prefer there on
Fives.
iTunes?
I'm into 5s.
5?
5 stars.
We love 5.
feels good.
If you feel inclined, 5s are
Feels
great.
good.
Please leave us a comment. Jump on the line. Jump on the comment line over there on YouTube. Those are a great way to come back and forth. Being a part of AfterBuzz TV has meant so much to all of us because we've gotten an opportunity to be in front of all of you guys and hang out and enjoy what we do. So thank you so much for supporting us and what we do. 2015, not a hell of a lot to really go over. Eliza, of course, always pushing. And her deal, she wanted to bring up that whole thing about the pedophile rings, right?
Yes.
We alluded to earlier. Let's dive into that for a quick second. Then we got to make a move here. I know we're getting tight on time.
Yeah.
But let's dive into that pedophile ring thing. She's tying this whole thing to season 1, right?
See,
Not this whole thing, but she's using that case from season 1 as an example of pedophile rings being exposed and then covered up.
yeah.
Right. So this is widespread, more widespread than any of us realize.
It's just a
kind of
nice
the idea.
little Easter egg confirmation that there's a shared universe.
Yeah, which is nice, right?
Yeah.
I enjoyed that. What else we got in
Oh,
2015?
well, we meet the housekeeper, the old housekeeper of
Yes, there it is.
Mr. Hoyt, who gives us all that information on Isabel, the car accident, Mr. June. That is really like an important piece that we learn.
So it sounds like in 1977 there was a big accident, right? Miss Isabel's husband and daughter died, right? And are we setting up for like a replacement family? Is that kind of what we're getting led down the path to believe here?
Possibly.
And then Mr. June is the dead-eyed
It's
dude.
also important that she got in an accident as well.
So she's not allowed to be out by herself, right?
Yeah,
she needs
right.
Mr.
She
June
was
to be with her.
traumatized.
Take
or-
care of
yeah.
her.
And now that's really interesting stuff. So we've got a dead husband, dead kid. Now we're maybe buying new kid. Is that where we're going?
Maybe. I mean that's been a theory that kind of has been mentioned because they talked about the Hoyt kids dying. Early on in the season, and so people theorize that like obviously Hoyt's involved in some way, and that this is what it is. Yeah, that's kind of what I got from it. Also, the inference that she's kind of like special. So I don't know if maybe that's why they were going out and just like playing in the woods or something. And I mean, it's all super weird. I don't know. Yeah. Also, I don't know. We gotta
wrap this all up.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's do this then. Let's move on to AfterBuzz predictions. There it is.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Nate Miller, what do you got for us?
I got a lot. Obviously, we have the car in the 2015 that we see that they get the license plate of. I think that might be related to the Hoyt thing. We don't have a lot of time, so I'm just going to make this really quick. How does Hoyt know about them killing
Harris.
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know? There's only 2 people there. It just happened last night.
Oh, Roland. You're saying Roland ratted them out.
I'm just saying
Oh,
Where's Roland?
that's the implication. So I think maybe that is why they don't talk anymore, and I think that he solves the case but gets, pressured into being quiet, and then I think eventually he forgot that he solved the case, and now he's going to rehash all this stuff up. And I don't know if Roland in 2015 feels guilty or if he's following him to like kind of try to keep him in line again.
out of it.
I don't know, but I don't know how else he found out.
Okay, so you
Unless
I
like
got
somebody was just following them and watched the whole time, just watched them beat Harris to death and then bury the body,
Bury the body.
and then ran home and told them.
it. All right, so okay, I got you, Jules. What do you got?
I'm not following that prediction.
So you're saying
I
that-
gotta piggyback
Sorry.
on that. That was really good.
Usually I go last.
That was really good.
So
Usually they call me first, and I still don't have any.
is that what
predictions,
happening?
though, let's be honest.
At this point, you're saying Nate has killed predictions
Yes.
now.
Yes.
No, I got one. I got.
Yes. Okay.
It's not a prediction, but I do think it's going to be a replacement family thing. I do think Miss Isabel, is trying to replace her family by buying other children with the chicken money, with that good Hoyt chicken money. And you got nothing. Nothing.
No,
to
I
add
don't.
to
I don't
it?
want to. I don't want to play.
All right, well, we're not playing then. Fine. Jules, where can the young people find you?
Find me on Instagram and on Twitter with my name, Julia Cearley, spelled Juliacearley.
Mr. Miller, where can the young people find you?
Guys, my name is Nate Miller. You can find me everywhere at Dog Like Nate. And if you work in the service industry as a server, or you work in a kitchen or anything of that nature, I'm starting a service industry podcast. Follow me on social media, find out more information about it. I'd love to have you guys be involved. Thanks for watching.
Good for you.
Cool.
Right, we did our time. We could say bad things too. What else? Oh, and you can find me on the Twitters at Joe Filippo. My website is josephsanfilippo.com. It's been a pleasure being with you guys. We'll see you for the finale next week. All of us will be here next Sunday night.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
Maybe.
Our
Sunday.
founder, Keven
Sunday.
Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.